an incredible list of speakers. I have been backstage crying for an hour, so just bear with me. This has just been such a powerful agenda. Listen, where I come from, we say buenas tardes, which means good afternoon in Spanish. And a quick check-in, where are my Latinas and Latinos in the room? All right. Nice. Saludos y bienvenidos, welcome. And a big warm hello to all the beautiful diversity in all of its forms and colors in this room today. So nice to see you. In fact, it's such a beautiful audience that I'm going to take a picture of all of you real quick because this has to go on social media. Here we go. Boom. All right, very good. All right, listen. As Rachel mentioned, my name is Rolddy, and I'm the Global Head of Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging for Capital One. And I'm also a board member Without an Equal. And it is so awesome and such a privilege to be here today with my colleagues from Capital One and my esteemed fellow board members of Without an Equal, and of course, all of you. A bit about me. My first name, Rolddy, is Irish. My last name, Levya, is Spanish. Neither Irish nor Spanish. I was born in Cuba. Any Cubanos in the house? Okay, good. One at this table. Thank you, sir. I want to just bring you up and give you a hug. All right, very good. So, un fuerte abrazo para mi gente, and I'm so glad that you're here also, which brings me to why I'm here, which is to talk a bit about the power of courage, of connection, and of community. And today, we've heard such powerful stories of courage and connection. The courage of individuals to step out, the courage of strangers to reach out, the courage of allies and advocates to speak out. Now, each of us can likely find some commonality in the stories and in the examples that we've heard today. I certainly know that I can. So let me share a little bit about my story with you and see if there are any parallels, right? So one, my family and I, we are a family of immigrants, refugees who fled the island of Cuba on a fishing boat when I was 5 and my sister was 3. 2, I identify as a gay Latino man, full stop. To stand up here, my heart is facing, to stand up here and openly declare my truth as a gay Cubano, that may not seem super significant to a lot of you, but I'll tell you, it is still a big thing for me to do. For a big part of my life, and this is true for so many people of color, this is a moment that seems so out of reach for me, based on where I came from and how I was raised. So mine is the story of a young gay boy raised in a conservative Cuban Catholic household, surrounded by very traditional and somewhat machista expectations of the man that I was supposed to be, someone quite different from the gay boy who I knew I was when I was 8 years old. I am someone who is able to stand here today not just because of the resilience, the resolve, and the courage that I, like so many of you, eventually tapped into, but in large part because of the courage of others, allies and advocates whose courage to reach out, to speak out, and to step out has inspired our courage to come out. The courage of my family for risking their lives and leaving their own families behind to bring my sister and me to this country from our homeland of Cuba so many years ago. The courage of my friends and teachers for standing up for me when I was bullied at school for all the reasons that young, gay, Latino, socioeconomically disadvantaged children like me are targeted for. Everything that made me different made me a target. My own courage to eventually take that leap of faith and step out of the closet. First, with my family and friends, whose own courage to lend their love and stand with me and support inspired me to keep stepping out. My dad in particular, and I wish he was here today, and Landon, I was so inspired by your story, and I was crying when I saw your dad on screen. I wish my dad was here to share that moment with him. But this is a man whose love and respect I wanted the most. And at one time, I feared he might never accept me as his gay son. A man, though, who has gone on his journey and who will now proudly post a copy of this video on his Facebook to show that gay son off to all the world. Y'all, my dad's my hero. All right. And then, of course, in coming out with my employer and my colleagues, and now today in public forums like this one, and the courage of allies and advocates who have turned out, who have spoken out, and who have stood out in our defense and in our behalf, and advocate and champion for us. Now, I have a few of them in this room today from my former employer, Sodexo. Where are you? We're in the back, okay. Where I came out over a decade ago. And my current employer, Capital One, where are you? Where I have felt the warmth and the love of the embrace of everyone that I work with. And I know that there are many of you out here in the audience today who are helping to light the path forward for so many of us in this room and beyond. And that's the power of community. The realization that for as different and as alone as we may sometimes feel, there are always others who will walk with us on our path. And that sense of community and connection is sometimes just enough to give lift to our spirit, power to our voices, and impulse on our journey. Now, we all play a role in creating a community for others and setting a climate of safety and belonging that inspires others to feel safe, to step into their own truth, and to live their lives authentically. And sometimes that can happen with something as simple as a gesture of love and compassion, which can create a ripple effect of goodness that can make the difference in someone's day. So let's all do some of that right now. First, I'd like everyone to just take out their mobile phones. I'm assuming a lot of you have Apple phones, but I haven't, and we're going to have different phones. Take out your mobile phones. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to have you do the opposite of what you are used to hearing at conferences, and that is to actually take your phone off of silent or vibrate. Go ahead and put the sound on. Right? Now, I'd like you to take a moment to think of someone who you care about. Maybe someone back home who you haven't seen in a couple of days, a relative who hasn't heard from you in some time. Think of a spouse, a partner, a friend, a family member, someone you met at the bar last night, anyone who might want to hear from you at this very moment. And go ahead and send that person a text message letting them know that you're thinking of them, that they're on your mind, that you miss them, and let them know that you care. This will take a second to do that now. And I sent one to my dad a second ago, so I'm hoping he responds. All right, listen, while we're doing that, I wanted to end today with a simple act meant to send 6,000 digital expressions of love and kindness out into the world, to remind someone out there that they are loved, that they are seen, and that they matter. And in return, and hopefully starting any moment now, I imagine that several hundred digital expressions of love and kindness will start coming rushing back into this room via the sounds of your text messages. So keep those phones off silent. So these are 6,000 digital nudges to remind all of us that no matter the physical distance, that we are not alone, that we are all capable of love, and that we are all worthy of being loved in return. So in closing, and while I am so grateful for how my story turns out, I also know that not every LGBTQ+ individual has found the same love, belonging, and safety in their homes, with their families, at work with their colleagues, or in their communities. And that's why allies and advocates remain so important to the safety of our community. Your voice, your actions, your courage, and now more than ever, your vote is the light we need to give lift to our voices and life to our people. So to all the allies and advocates and champions in the audience, thank you. It is because of people like you that someone like me gets to stand here today. And to everyone, thanks for letting me come up and share my story with all of you. My only ask is that you keep creating a climate of love and compassion so that others may find the safety and the belonging that they seek to step fully into the best, most authentic version of themselves. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your summit.